Hi everybody, this is Tina with Loving Life's Little Blessings, and this week I am on my way to the Stampin' Up Convention. I will be leaving on Wednesday morning, really early. Wendy and I are actually driving, and I'm really excited. We've never been on a road trip together. In our 20 plus years of friendship, we've never gone on a road trip. So we're excited. We're heading out and going to convention. So all this week, I am going to be sharing with you guys my convention swaps. So I am not a card maker. You guys know that. It is a little bit hard for me to create cards, come up with cards. I really prefer to just case cards, which just means to copy and share everything. I find that there's a lot of other people that are more talented than I am making cards. So I was really stressed out. I made 200 swaps for just convention, like every day going to convention. And then I had 60 swaps. That's what I'm going to show you today. The design for my Founder Circle swaps. There were 60 of us from last year's Founder Circle, which are the top 100 demonstrators in the nation, and I was able to be a part of that last year and go on the exclusive trip. And there were 60 of us that decided to go ahead and get together and swap cards. So these are full swap cards, which means that it is a full card. Usually when you do a swap card, you just do the card front, which is this part of the card, and then that way your cardstock goes farther, obviously, and then when you receive a swap, you can just put it on a card base like this, and then so that works out. So for the Founder Circle swaps that I'm going to share with you guys today, it's a full card. So I had 60 of those to make. Like I said, I made 200 for my just general swapping at convention, and then I made 150 of another design. I will be showing you that on Friday, and those were for a special gathering right before convention on Wednesday night. So the other thing is that if you're a part of my team, I'm going to zoom in and we're going to get started making this card. If you're a part of my team or you're a part of the creative club that I have, you received all 3 of my swap cards. So everybody on my team and everybody in my club received a little package of all of my cards. I wanted to share those with you guys. So let's get started. I'm right in the middle of making them, so I have some things in various steps, but I'm going to share with you guys what I did. I first just started with a white base, which is this. My card opens like this. And then the next thing I did, so this is a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch card, standard card. So then what I did is I paired it with a basic black piece. This piece is embossed, and I used this folder right here. So this is obviously a Stampin' Up folder, and I used this one with the basic black. So this piece can go on now, and I like to use my ATG gun when I have a piece that has embossing on it, because I just feel like my ATG adhesive is stronger. And then of course when I'm making swap cards, I want my adhesive to go really far. So I can just layer this piece right here. When I first was playing around trying to design the card, I did not have the base embossed. So after I had created a few, I realized that adding an embossed layer would really add something to the card. So the very next thing I have is, this is a piece of Bermuda Bay, and it is 3 inches across, and then it is 4 1/4 wide, right? No, I'm sorry. It is 3 inches wide and then 4 1/4 tall. And this piece, originally I did a piece of designer paper from our stacks. Do I have a piece laying here? I don't. From our stacks, just our Brights collection, but I didn't have enough to do 60 cards. I could only get, I think I got like 9 or 11 pieces from 2 sheets, or from 1 sheet, and I only had 2 sheets. So I had to scrap that and just go with the regular cardstock. So that's Bermuda Bay. So we can go ahead and layer this. And what I'm doing is I'm just layering this right in the middle of the card. Just like this. And this was an accident. I was actually at Wendy's trying to design a swap card, and she actually had a little pile of these in her scraps that were already cut this size that she had done from something else, and I grabbed them. I was going to do some punching, and I was like, oh, that's kind of actually a good layer. So the very next layer that we're doing is this layer right here. Now this is from this embossing folder. So this is the 6x6 embossing folder. It's the brick wall. So what I did to emboss this, you can emboss 2 pieces of cardstock at a time and they still come out really well. And so what I did is I knew I wanted to put a sentiment on the card and I wanted to do it on this white piece. So what I did is I lined up when I put, this is a 4 by 4 by 4 1/4. So it's 4 by 4 1/4. So what I did when I put this in here is I just made sure that I lined up the cardstock like this so that I had a brick, a full brick down here. And then I searched for a sentiment that would fit in there. Okay, so it's gonna be actually 4 by 4. I thought that was wrong. All right, sorry about that. It's actually 3 1/4 this way by 4. I thought that was off. So this piece, I'm gonna go ahead and do my stamping. So what I did is I grabbed this set. This is Crazy About You and has all these great sentiments that are pretty small. And it is meant to be paired with the framelits that say you, that I think it says thanks you and something else, and these are meant to be paired with those words that you cut out. So what I did in the bottom part of that brick, it's great because with the photopolymer stamp you can just see right through, so that makes it great. Again, we're going to use the ATG gun because this is another embossed piece, and we are almost done. So the next thing I did was I used this stamp set right here and some vellum. So I wanted to use this wreath. I had gotten it, and I'm really glad I did because it worked out really well for my swap cards. So I'm gonna go ahead and use Stays On because I just wanna make sure that it doesn't smear, and I feel like using Stays On vellum works out a little bit better. So what I did is I cut my vellum down just into strips that I knew this stamp would fit. And then I put 2 images onto 1 piece of vellum. I borrowed Wendy's framelits that coordinate with this stamp set, and I cut 2 out at a time because I did over 60 of these. So that was a lot of, obviously a lot of cutting. So the next thing I did, I'm gonna zoom in, I'm gonna share with you guys the next thing I did. So I knew that I didn't want to color the entire image because that would be a lot of coloring. So what I did is I took my writer markers and I used Calypso Coral and I colored a few of these images. I'm going to speed up this coloring part and just show you which ones I colored. So you can see that I didn't do every single leaf or every single flower. So I'm gonna cut this out and then I'm gonna show you the very last step of this. One tip when cutting this out, really quickly before I run it through my big shot, is first I used the magnetic platform, which helped. The second thing is the first time that you try to line this up, it's a little hard. And it's like you're turning it because you're just not sure exactly like where it is. Once you do it a couple times, you kind of get the hang of it. What I realized was there is one of these larger flowers right by this little piece. Now the stamp set is actually designed, if you look at it, it has a little arrow right here. And if you line that up with this, it makes it really easy. However, because I stamped multiple images and then I was cutting them all out at the same time, I didn't really realize which way it was pointing, or I didn't have that advantage. So what I realized is one of these larger flowers are right by this image. So all I had to do was make sure I found which one worked with that image, and then it was really easy to line it up each time. Like it's that one right there. So it just takes a little bit to like situate it, but this actually went very fast cutting them all out. Again, I borrowed Wendy's. I had 2 sets, so I would just cut 2 at a time, and it was pretty easy to line them all up. Okay, so we're almost finished with this card. So it comes out of the Big Shot like this. You just pop it out. Now there is a middle part to this image. I did not cut that out because I just did not want to add one more step. I figured I had enough steps to do. So now we're gonna bring this part over to the card. Now I just wanna mention that when I was making this, when I made all my swap cards, I did it in a batch process method. So I cut all my bases, I had a stack of bases, okay? Then I cut all the black, and I had a stack of black, and then I embossed all of them, okay? Then I cut all the whites, and then I embossed them. So I just had these stacks of cardstock sitting around. I'll actually insert a photo of one. I took a photo of my Friday, the ones I'm going to show you on Friday. I took a picture of those when they were all prepped and sitting on my counter, and I'll insert a photo here. Here. So you can see that I just have everything prepped and then ready to go. So now we have this image right here, and because it's vellum, how are we going to attach this? So what I decided to do was go ahead and use dimensionals, and I'm going to put dimensionals behind each of these types of flowers. Go ahead and put this right on the card. Now in order to cover up those dimensionals, what I did was I took a bowl just like this. You can see there's a few left in here. And I took some Bermuda Bay. There's still some of the pattern flowers in here. I just punched a bunch of these all at once and stuck them in the bowl like that. And then I used glue dots. And I would just put a bunch of these on the roll. So I would just continue to do that all the way around. I would just unwrap and I would do 30 or 40 at a time. And then I would go back and then attach them to the card, and I attach them right over those glue dots. Right over those dimensionals like that. And then to give it one last pop, I go ahead and stick a rhinestone right in the middle. And I did that even on the patterned flowers because you can see I did use some patterned paper. And so those were pretty as well. So let me show you one all packaged up and ready to swap. It looks like this. And then in my package, I just put one of my business cards. I didn't attach it to the card or anything, so that the demonstrator that I swap with, she can just use this card, and she doesn't have to worry about covering any of my information up. So that's how the card came out. I hope you guys liked this. Make sure that you are following me on Instagram so that you can see all of my photos of convention. I'll be documenting it all for you guys and sharing with it, starting with our road trip. You can go right up here to my coordinating blog post. It's gonna have photos of all of the things that I've shared with you, as well as a supply list if you want to pick any of these items up. And then it will have all of the accounts that I will be sharing photos on this coming week. So I'm excited to attend my very first convention, and I hope that you guys will come along and join me in the fun. So thanks guys, and I will be back. And then I'll be back on Friday with my other swap card for this special event on Wednesday. So thanks so much guys for hanging out with me, and I will talk to you on Wednesday.
If you wanna play, make it a better place. It'll take creation, imagination. Try to draw out